Alright guys, what is up? I'm Mike and this is Meet Mike. Thanks for stopping by. If it's your first time here, go ahead and smash that subscribe button, hit that like button. You don't want to miss an episode. If you're already subscribed, thank you so much for coming back. I've got a quick little story here I came across that was pretty hilarious and I want to share it with you guys. Looks like Chinese scientists have been giving anal COVID tests to US ambassadors in error. So I thought it was pretty funny, thought it was pretty hilarious. Thought I'd share this with you today. Maybe you get a giggle or two out of it. Really, it's funny but not funny because in error, come on. Error, Chinese scientists. Maybe it was an error, but how do you not discern a anal COVID test from a normal COVID test, a normal nasal swab? So I don't know really how these work, if they go in the rectum or what, but it sounds like, come on, only the American ambassadors were given these tests, or is this just for spice? So we're going to go through this article really quickly. I thought it was hilarious, and I thought that, come on, an error. I want to share it with you guys, and you guys tell me what you think in the comments. Do you think it was an error, or do you think that maybe they were giving the American ambassadors the anal tests for secret laughs of their own? You guys be the judge. Again, we're going to go through this article real quick. So this article comes from Vice World News at vice.com. You guys can go check it out if you want. That's the source of this article. And again, I thought it was hilarious and in error. China gave U.S. diplomats anal COVID tests in error, American officials will say. And I think I said ambassadors, but I didn't mean ambassador, I meant diplomats. The U.S. State Department says it is committed to preserving the dignity of American diplomats. Of course, hope they are. I hope this wasn't error and they weren't sticking ass tests in Americans' nostrils. And that's why it's funny, but it's not funny because China may be trying to get a little bit of get back from when President Donald Trump kept saying Chinese virus. So maybe they're trying to get a little get back. So China has said that anal probes can improve the accuracy of the COVID-19 testing. So China said that the anal probes can improve the accuracy. So maybe it wasn't such an error after all. But let's keep reading. The Chinese government has promised to stop using anal swabs on American diplomats to test for COVID-19 after Washington complained that the practice was undignified, the U.S. State Department said. You think undignified? You think? Come on. The State Department never agreed to this kind of testing and protested directly to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs when we learned that some of the staff were subject to it, a State Department spokesperson told Vice World News on Wednesday. Of course the State Department would never agree to this kind of testing. The spokesperson said that Beijing had assured Washington that the test was given in error and that diplomatic personnel were exempt from the test, which was mandatory for incoming travelers in some parts of China. It makes you wonder who's giving out these tests if it was a genuine error. Who's administering these tests? What kind of training have they had? If any training at all? Do you not know the difference between an anal test and a nasal swab test? If I'm giving out tests, I'm going to make sure I'm not, number one, effing people up. The Chinese, they've been careless in the past. Many viruses have leaked from China and kind of screwed the world in the past. I'm just looking at history here, and maybe their training is poor across the board, and maybe this was a genuine error and they were sticking anal swabs in Americans' nostrils. But how come it was only Americans? Did they do this to Chinese citizens as well? We've instructed staff to decline the test if it is asked of them, as was done in the past. On Thursday afternoon, China's Foreign Ministry spokesman Zhao Lijian, hopefully I'm saying that right, denied Beijing had asked U.S. diplomats in China to undergo anal swab tests. Beijing had asked U.S. diplomats in China to undergo anal swab tests. Of course he's denying it because he probably didn't directly say, hey, can I give you an anal swab test in your nose? Some Chinese regions have been ordering anal swabs for people under quarantine, including those who arrived from abroad. Authorities say the tests can avoid missing infections. A lot of stuff that Chinese people do makes no sense to me. They eat raw bats. They literally eat anything. A snake that's alive, I bite the head right off of it. Whatever blows your hair back, different strokes for different folks, so I'm not passing judgment, but when viruses leak and shut down world economies due to this kind of behavior, then you know what? It's not whatever blows your hair back anymore. You're effing the world up by doing this kind of stuff. It's not clear how many U.S. diplomats or their family members have gone through the tests. Probably thousands. The State Department spokesperson said that it is committed to preserving the dignity of American diplomats and their families, consistent with the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations and other diplomatic law provisions. They were given these anal tests to Americans that were unaware that they were anal tests, and now their dignity is hurt, which mine would be too, because, who's to say that they weren't purposely doing this and laughing in private. In an online post earlier in February, China's National Health Commission said in some cases the coronavirus can be more readily detected in anal samples than in throat and nasal samples. But it acknowledged rectal swabs are not suitable for mass use because they are inconvenient and unpopular. Right, nobody wants anything stuck in their butt. I have no idea what's going on really in China. Some of the story makes sense, some of it doesn't. But things that China's doing right now make sense. A lot of the stuff that they do don't make sense. According to the Commission's instructions, the anal samples are collected by inserting a cotton swab 3 to 5 centimeters, about 1 to 2 inches, into the rectum for more accurate results, I guess. Reports about anal COVID-19 testing prompted a wave of panic on Chinese social media last month. So I guess the Chinese were panicking when they heard of anal testing that could possibly happen to them. They don't want nothing in their butts. I don't blame them, kinda, but you know what? You'll bite the head off a snake. You'll bite the head off of a live bat, but you don't want an anal swab? Come on. Get it together, China. A traveler from Australia to China who was given anal swabs in September told Vice World News it felt like having diarrhea. So an anal swab test feels like having diarrhea. Noted. China has largely contained the pandemic. Only a handful of cases are reported daily across the country of 1.4 billion people. If they're reporting accurately, which they're probably not. They make their country look strong, like they got it together. Its relatively early recovery helped its film industry break records earlier this month during the Lunar New Year holiday. But the authorities remain wary of foreign visitors who could bring new outbreaks. So, the Chinese officials and the Chinese government are wary of foreigners bringing in new outbreaks. So the source of the virus outbreak is wary that another country or a foreign national is going to bring them what they created. Stop it, China. Stop it. Nothing against Chinese people. I think they're pretty smart people. But when it comes to eating and cooking your food to a safe temperature, safe practices, they lack. These Chinese wet markets are brutal. If you guys haven't seen them, YouTube them, Google them. They are brutal. They are disgusting. And I don't know if there's any Chinese people watching. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to hate on your country, but disgusting. I've never been there in person, but I've watched many videos where they're just nasty. No hand washing, just whack the head right off a chicken and put it in a bag, and the customer walks away with it, and the Chinese person just sits down and like they didn't just whack a head off off of a live, not even just a chicken, a live animal. It's brutal. They need to get it together. They need to stop this stuff. It's messing the world up, China. So that's it for today. Quick little story. Hope you got a laugh out of it. I just thought I'd share that with you guys. I was cracking up when I read it. What do you guys think? Leave it in the comments. Let me know if you think China gave U.S. diplomats COVID anal tests in error, or do you think this was on purpose? Drop a comment. If it's your first time stopping by, make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit that like button, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss an episode. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for stopping by again. Hope you guys got a laugh out of this. Hope you guys enjoyed the content. I'm Mike, and this is Meet Mike. Nice to meet you guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.